Nobody on this set was allowed to be funny. That was the rule. The first rule. The only rule. And it's the reason the film still makes people laugh 45 years later. Airplane, 1980. The most quoted comedy in cinema history. 16 facts about the film that broke the disaster genre. Stay until the end, because the last one is on a tombstone. Fact 1. The whole film exists because 3 men forgot to turn off a VCR. Zaz had a habit of leaving a VCR running overnight. One night, it recorded 0 hour. A 1957 disaster film played completely straight, traumatized war veteran, food poisoning, a character named Ted Stryker. They couldn't stop laughing. They bought the remake rights outright for $2,500 because nobody knew the film existed. The plot, the character names, individual lines of dialogue, all theirs to use freely. Airplane went on to gross $171 million worldwide. That $2,500 may be the best bargain in Hollywood history. Fact 2. Paramount wanted comedians. Zaz wanted the opposite. Zaz said no to every comedian the studio suggested. Their logic: comedians try to be funny. Dramatic actors play the situation straight. The joke comes from the collision. Leslie Nielsen, Robert Stack, Peter Graves, Lloyd Bridges. None had ever done comedy. All 4 became comedy icons overnight. Nobody warned them it was coming. Fact 3. Peter Graves read the script and called it the most disgusting thing he'd ever seen. He nearly walked. The lines to the boy in the cockpit he found genuinely tasteless. Zaz assured him they'd be explained in a later scene. There was no such scene. They never told him that. Graves played every line with the dignity of a Shakespearean actor. That's precisely why they work. Fact 4. Robert Stack didn't know how to play Robert Stack. He started playing the role in a way that wasn't landing. Zazie showed him a video of comedian John Byner impersonating Robert Stack and asked Stack to model his performance on that. The result, as the director later described it, Stack was doing an impression of Byner doing an impression of Stack. 3 layers of deadpan, pointed in exactly the right direction. Fact 5. Lloyd Bridges said no. His sons changed his mind. Bridges was skeptical. Jeff and Beau Bridges talked him into it. He took McCroskey, a man whose addictions escalate scene by scene. Cigarettes, alcohol, amphetamines, then glue. He played every beat of the unraveling without cracking once. 2 future Oscar winners convinced their father to make the funniest thing he ever did. Fact 6. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar agreed to be in the film for a very specific reason. The role was originally intended for Pete Rose. Rose was playing baseball. The co-pilot seat opened up and Zaz asked Kareem, the best basketball player on the planet, to sit in it. Their offer, $30,000. Kareem's counter, $35,000. The reason was precise. That was the exact price of an oriental rug he wanted to buy. Weeks later, Time magazine ran a photo of Kareem standing in front of the rug. He got the role, the rug, and the last word on his defensive effort in the regular season. Fact 7. The slap line was invented by the woman being slapped. The original scene from 0 Hour ended with a single slap. Actress Lee Bryant suggested extending it. More passengers, more weapons. Boxing gloves, tire iron, revolver. Zaz were worried she'd get hurt. They agreed to try one take. It stayed in the film exactly a shot. Fact 8. Barbara Billingsley had spent 17 years barely working. One flight changed that. After Leave It to Beaver ended in 1963, the image had locked and the offers dried up. Airplane needed the most buttoned-up person alive to translate jive for the cabin. Harriet Nelson was asked first and passed. Billingsley read the script, called it the craziest thing she'd ever seen, and signed immediately. The actors who wrote the jive took her to lunch and coached her personally. After years of near invisibility, she was back on talk shows and taking new roles. She said it herself. It started her whole career again. No comedians, 4 actors playing it straight. A woman back from nowhere. A slap line in one take. Up to here, everyone was just doing their job. From here, the film starts doing something to the culture. Fact 9. The test screening laugh lasted so long they had to recut the film around it. When Kareem finally breaks character and defends his regular season effort at full volume, the first test audience laughed so long the next line was inaudible. Zaz were watching the crowd, not the screen. They extended the shot, held on Kareem's face, to let the laugh die down before the scene could continue. The timing of that moment wasn't written, it was measured. Fact 10. The entire film was shot in 35 days. Then the audience cut it. The rough cut ran 115 minutes, nearly half an hour longer than what audiences saw. Dead subplots, jokes that sat in silence. A complete scene with Jose Feliciano as a blind Air Poland pilot. Zaz took the film on tour. College campuses, movie theaters, real audiences. They watched the crowd. Big laugh, stays. Quiet room, gone. No studio notes, no focus group reports, just people in seats. 27 minutes hit the floor. What remained was 88 minutes where the next joke landed before you'd finished the last one. That rhythm was engineered by strangers who didn't know they were cutting a film. Fact 11. Every aerial shot in the film has the wrong sound. On purpose. The plane looks like a modern jetliner. The sound under every aerial sequence is a propeller chug, lifted directly from 0 hour. A callback to the film's origin, hidden across every flight scene. Most viewers never register it. The brain fills in jet sounds when it sees a jet. But once you hear it, you can't unhear it. The best joke in the film isn't a line, it's a sound. Fact 12. Universal Pictures tried to kill the film before it opened. The title was The Problem. Universal had spent the 1970s building a disaster franchise. Airport. Airport 1975. Airport 77, The Concorde. When Paramount announced Airplane, Universal filed a formal complaint. The arbitration board ruled in Universal's favor. In the UK, Australia, and several international markets, the film was released as Flying High. No airplane anywhere on the poster. Universal dropped the fight the moment the film became a hit. The studio that built the disaster genre had become the punchline. Fact 13. Ethel Merman played a man who believed he was Ethel Merman. It was her last film. A soldier in a military hospital, shell-shocked into believing he's a Broadway legend. The camera pulls back. He is Ethel Merman. She sits up in a combat helmet and performs Everything's Coming Up Roses at full volume before being sedated mid-note. Merman, one of the most powerful voices in Broadway history, played it completely straight. She died in 1984. Airplane was her final screen appearance. A Broadway legend, a military hospital ward, a show-stopping performance in uniform, unconscious before the last note. Fact 14. The real LAX announcers voiced the airport argument. They were a real married couple. The White Zone dispute. Two calm voices escalating into a personal breakdown over a PA system needed to sound exactly like a real airport. ZAZ auditioned professional voice actors. None sounded authentic enough. They found the real couple who recorded the actual LAX announcements. The couple playing a bickering couple over an airport intercom were, in real life, a married couple. The joke was already there. They just needed the right voices. Fact 15. Leslie Nielsen spent the rest of his life making sure nobody took him seriously again. He was 54 when Airplane came out, a serious character actor heading toward grandfather roles. After the film, he pivoted completely. The Naked Gun, Spy Hard, Wrongfully Accused, a second career that outlasted the first. He also carried a fart machine in his pocket for 30 years. White House, First Class, press junkets. The assistant director banned it from sets. Nielsen ignored that. Fact 16. Dr. Rumack didn't just change his career, it replaced it. Nielsen spent decades trying to be taken seriously, then realized it worked better the other way. He played every line like it mattered. That was the joke. When he died, his tombstone read, "Let her rip." That's the instruction he left. For everyone, a $2,500 VCR recording. 4 dramatic actors who'd never done comedy. Nobody on set allowed to be funny. The joke was in the gap between how seriously they took it and how completely absurd it was. Nobody warned them it was going to work. It just did, and it kept going until a man with a fart machine in his pocket told his tombstone to say so.